Do we work from home or live at work? That's one of the key questions to come out of a new report from Okta on business at work. We are thrilled to discuss that report and what it means for businesses today with Okta CEO Todd McKinnon and senior tech reporter Allie Garfinkle. Nice to see you, sir. Let's start with that statement. Explain where that comes from and what it means for businesses today.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is our 9th annual Businesses at Work report. Okta, as an identity company, we sit between employees and customers and all the digital technology they use at work or in their personal lives. So we gather unique insight about who's using what and what trends are shaping the technology industry. And we publish it in this report in this aggregate format to give the industry and the public a view into what's going on in technology. And the many interesting things this year in the 9th report. But one of the most interesting things is that people are mixing work with their personal lives. We see applications like Strava and MyFitnessPal and Venmo and PayPal. You're working, you're spending money, you're doing wellness like Modern Health, and you're doing it all together as you work in this hybrid world we've all been working and living in for the last several years.
Hi, Todd. Allie here. One of the things I want to actually specifically talk about that personal finance piece. The statistic that really stood out to me from this report was that apps like PayPal and Venmo, which were built for personal finance, have seen growth of more than 20% year over year in corporate settings. I was surprised, honestly, because my first thought was, does that pose a security risk? How should we be thinking about this? And frankly, is it something you would allow on Okta's corporate network?
Well, it's a really interesting question. There's always this balance between what an employee does for their specific work tasks, and then what they might be doing during work time for their personal lives. And in this data, you see the usage of these apps, and it's pretty hard to tease apart what they're actually paying for with these apps. Is it work tasks or is it personal tasks? But I think many companies are being more flexible and trusting employees to do the right thing and to take advantage and use the tools at their disposal to do the right thing for work. And if they need to do some personal things on work time, that's okay as well. This is part of this flexible hybrid world we live in. And Okta, at our company, we behave the same way. We trust our employees to do the right thing and give them the best tools, and they do a good job going about their business in that way.
And Todd, I'd also love to ask about Microsoft, because one of the things in the report that you point out that's really striking is that Microsoft has been losing out to AWS in both single and multi-cloud. What's behind that from your perspective?
Well, one of the interesting things from the report, in addition to the personal apps and work apps and this mix of work-life balance, is that companies in these times of economic uncertainty and tightening, they're really investing in technology. So we see in our report, the average large company, over 2,000 employees, is using over 200 applications. So 211 applications on average, to be precise. And they're investing more and more in the number of applications. That number has increased, almost doubled over the last several years. So through the times of COVID and now economic uncertainty, CEOs and CTOs and digital officers are doubling down on technology. They're also doubling down on security. So we saw a market increase in the amount of security tools that were deployed around this technology. Every company has a strategy for something called zero trust, which is basically mean support this hybrid work from home environment in a secure way. And the number of tools around zero trust has grown 20% in the last year. And this gets back to Microsoft. So the Microsoft pitch is that buy everything from Microsoft, from this monolithic platform, and they'll do it all for you. And that's a good pitch. But when you look at the data, first of all, in an important category like cloud infrastructure, AWS is far ahead. They have 8 times as many customers, growing very quickly. And then in the core communication and collaboration apps, you see half of Microsoft customers also use Zoom, and about a third of them also use Slack. So you're seeing many of them supplement Office 365 core email with all of these best-of-breed collaboration apps and best-of-breed security apps to make it all secure and make it all manageable.
Todd, also stand out in this report among the most popular apps. You saw a stunning rise in travel apps. Clearly, the popularity of them soaring here throughout this past year. How big of a jump are we talking, and how do you see this trend playing out?
Well, it makes intuitive sense. You think about your company and different companies. More companies are getting back to normal business travel. In fact, Morgan Stanley has a report out that says about a third of companies anticipate in the next year normal business travel levels. And you're seeing this in our data as well. You're seeing travel apps. There's a travel app called Naven, which it used to be called Trip Actions, but it's one of the fastest in the category of apps, travel apps overall, which grew very rapidly, about over 20% growth in that category. And Naven is an app that lets people book travel and do corporate expenses. That grew almost 100% year over year. So it kind of jives with the data that companies are getting back to traveling, and they're using the applications that make that happen.
Todd, one more from me. I want to actually dive into a little bit more on this travel data, Naven in particular. Where is this growth coming from? Do we know where people are going? Is there any kind of color we can give us into that major growth number? Because it's a big number, but I feel like I don't know what it means.
Yeah, I think it means that it's very broad-based. So different kind of industries, different sizes of company. In our data, we have over 17,000 companies as customers across all industries, all segments, all geographies. And in our integration network, so the number of applications that are integrated to Okta, by far it's the leading in the industry. It's over 7,000 types of applications. So when you see a jump in a horizontal category like travel and the growth we're seeing with Naven, it's what we know is it's very broad across industries and sectors.
Okay, Todd McKinnon, Allie Garfinkle, great to have you both. Really appreciate that conversation.